what I would say is that we do occasionally see congenital abnormalities. Very rarely do we see lethal abnormalities, but the most common type of congenital abnormalities that we see in our environments tends to be polydactyly. That's people, the babies coming with extra digits on either the hands or the feet, which tend to be managed quite easily. Once in a while, then we do get other cases of neurological abnormalities such as hydrocephaly, which tends to be quite lethal. Not so often we may get some cases of exomphalos, where the baby's intestines or the umbilical cord is protruding after delivery, but those tend to be not so common.
Accra Regional Hospital is a referral center for the Greater Accra region. That's the capital. So, as a referral hospital, almost every case that goes to the peripheries, that's the primary healthcare units and things, are referred here for further management. Some are also referred to the teaching hospital, that's called a BOO. So we work hand in hand with the teaching hospital. Cases that come here that are quite complex and we cannot do, for instance, the heart conditions and things are sent to the teaching hospital where they have a cardio unit. That's
multiple digits would be the ones that maybe we see the most. Then cleft palates, okay, before maybe let's say hydrocephaly, all right, and then in a few cases then we see Down syndrome, all right, so those are the most common ones here, okay. We don't often see things like spina bifida here. I don't think we've seen one in a long time. Anencephaly, rarely, maybe one a year, and we have almost 2,000 deliveries, so I'll take it like maybe 1 in 2,000.
Most of the cases that we see are chromosomal abnormalities, and it has to do with Down syndrome, Edwards, Patals, and we see them a lot. We also see other congenital things, some like sometimes amputation of a whole limb, sometimes fingers with this abnormal band. And then we have problems with fusion of the bones.
The major causes are to do with neonatal sepsis and then prematurity. Before congenital abnormalities and other things come in. So it's one of the causes, but not one of the, should I say, the top 3 causes of neonatal mortality and morbidity. This facility, the best we can do is the ultrasound, okay? I mean, ideally we should be able to do the triple test and quadruple test, but I mean, due to lack of facilities when it comes to laboratory investigations, we can't do the alpha-fetoproteins and all that. And then availability of skilled people to be even able to do ultrasound, a detailed anomaly scan. We don't have people who are that trained to be able to take nuchal translucency, measure the different diameters of the brain and things. So if we did have improved training in ultrasound and then better ultrasound machines with high resolution and be able to do the anomaly scans. but in terms of the biochemical investigations in this town, we cannot do them. Alright, so that one would only be able to done maybe in Kumasi or Accra, but even that one comes as an expense, as it's not covered by the health insurance. So because of that, it's not a routine screen for alpha fetoprotein and the rest for Down syndrome and the trisomies. Unfortunately, it's not routine. So most of the time, if the counseling is done well, I mean the mothers, if they understand the problems that we have with the child, then they are ready to have a termination of the pregnancy. Okay, if it's not a lethal abnormality, I mean we wouldn't counsel for termination. I mean, like if it's an extra digit or even there's a heart abnormality, I mean, we might not counsel, but then sometimes you get babies who, you see there's gross fetal ascites or there's anencephaly, no head at all. Those ones, I mean, the mothers understand that the chances of having a healthy baby are next to zero, so those ones they are willing. So I've not yet come across a case of somebody unwilling to have a termination of the pregnancy. If you go to the orphanages, you find a lot of abandoned children who were abandoned because maybe they had Down syndrome or maybe they had a structural abnormality, cleft palate and all those things. Sometimes it does happen that the mothers abandon the child. They may not even send the child to the orphanage, they may just leave the child somewhere, so it does happen. So most of the time it's because the treatment is expensive, a lot of times because other people in society look down on them because they've had an abnormal child. So some people might think that they are in quotes witches or they have something bad about them, so they also worry about it. It's most of the time about the cost of treatment. So fortunately with things like cleft palate and things, now there are a couple of groups who are doing surgeries for free for cleft palate and things, so that one is a bit better now. But previously when it comes to other abnormalities, because of the cost of treatment, the cost of rehabilitation, if the mother can't afford it, it becomes a big problem. Some research is done in the teaching hospitals. Okay, most of them have been done in the teaching hospitals about the congenital abnormalities, but I guess the problem is putting that research into practice and getting the funding to make it part of the routine program, because ideally in the developed world, screening for genetic abnormalities is part of it. Even after the child is delivered, doing dry blood spot tests for certain disorders should be done, but it's not yet routine.